What is poppin' pimps? Today is November 12th and it is a Tuesday, so we did our cardio today. Now let's go ahead. Hey, I've got a better sleep score than I thought I would at 73. And the reason I thought it'd be a bit lower is because I had to stay up late and get up early for the new cat. He needed to go to the vet, and the scheduled appointment finally came up, and we went in to see if he had a microchip. And if he didn't have a microchip, then getting him shots, getting him some blood work done to make sure he doesn't have leukemia or AIDS that might spread to the other cat. And then I already said getting him shots, checking for mites, checking for fleas, checking for any problems that he might have, and had to go in a little later than I would normally be awake at, which isn't a big problem. He was a good trooper the whole time. I mean, he was crying and protesting, but he never hissed, he never swatted, he never gave the doctors a hard time. Apparently, he was a good boy the whole way through. And so now, little Choom is back home. He's a happy guy. He was a little stressed out, but overall happy camper. And he passed with flying colors, no leukemia, no AIDS, no any problems that he might have. He's just a little underweight because he was probably starving. But we are addressing that in short order. But he's not the only thing we're going to discuss today. We are mostly supposed to be discussing myself on this. We weighed ourselves in today at 263.8 pounds. That does put us a little bit ahead by 2 days of our 5 pound a week goal, which, as I've been saying, is good, and we're happy to see that right now. If we can get a little bit ahead for the 2 Thanksgivings we got coming up, then we will be in a good shape for December. Let's take a look at what we did. 16,951 steps, 175 active minutes, 14,062 calories. We are living large. Now today we did cardio, which means we got on the elliptical, and we did, 35 minutes, which is going to be what we do for the most part. There it is. 3.24 miles, 556 calories. No, I don't think that's our best record. I thought I was going to get a little bit further, but again, a little bit tired, if you can tell. And today what we've got to eat, I'm going to be grilling up some more chicken breast that's been marinating in some clods for a good while. And we're going to put that inside an omelet. I've been kind of wanting an omelet for a little bit, and I think today we'll just go ahead and swing it. Guesstimating the weight for the chicken because I haven't made it yet, and I'm only going to take the weights for after I weigh it, and kind of can't guess the future. But we've been around 400 grams each time, so we're going to guess it's going to be around 400 grams this time, and just kind of go from there. We're going to put a little bit of cheese on there, assuming 1 serving of cheese, but I'll weigh it out to see what 28 grams of the shredded cheese actually looks like. If it's too much, I won't be putting more than a serving, but if it's too much, then I'll adjust it as needed. But we're looking at about 830 calories. 61% of that is protein. How much protein is that? It doesn't really give you a number. Nutrition info? No way is it 123 grams. Well, maybe it is. Oh my goodness. We are protein loading, I guess. And then fat would be from the eggs mostly, I'd guess. Oh, let's see. Does it say? That's potassium, iron, saturated fats. Any other fats? It looks like I was right. The 4 eggs are going to be the most fat, and then followed by the cheese and then the breast. Food sources, butter, cream. Oh, let's see. Yogurt, cheese, kale. Oh, let's see. Low intake. I'm going to have a low intake on a lot of these with only 800 calories. Alright, whatever. But that is what we're looking at today. So we're going to start, or tomorrow for me, I'm going to do leg day, of course. I think we've got 1 or 2 that we're hoping to bump up weight on. But we will check that out tomorrow. And as for the cats, I'm going to try to get them fairly mingled and fairly friendly with each other. At least before, hopefully, before the December trip. So we've got about a month to get these cats friendly with each other, which should be well more than enough time. But you never really know. Right now, still kind of keeping them separated, trying to feed meals together, but DM, the existing cat, was used to me feeding once a day and her grazing off that meal for the rest of the day. And now she's adjusting not only to limited time availability to food, so that she's hungrier, so that she will actually do what I want and be in the same room with Choom. And I don't know what the second point I was going to make was. I don't know where I was going with that. But trying to get them in the same room together. Right now she starts her meals by having it in front of the door where I've got Choom. And then I will go in, play with Choom for a little bit, get him hungry, and then bring him out to the kitchen where I'll put his bowl and I'll put her bowl on the other side of the kitchen. And I've only started that part today because I wasn't mingling them before, because I didn't know if he had any problems that would be contagious. But now I know that he doesn't. We're going to try to mingle them. Today, she didn't take it. She ate maybe half of her meal on the other side of the door, and then as soon as she would have to be in the same room to eat, she was out. She was gone. And then I thought, okay, well, they haven't really had a big problem. I mean, she's hissed at him before, but that was a few days ago. So maybe I can let him free roam a little bit while I record the video. That didn't last long, as shortly after the meal finished, she snuck up on him, hissed at him, and that was the first time that he hissed back. So we're just going to re-separate them. He's got claws, she doesn't. And nobody's swatted, but don't really want to take their first close interaction and end that off in a potential fight, so I just went ahead and separated them. And he is in a room with me behind a closed door right now. And he's been a good guy this whole time. He's just been resting on my chest while I recline in this chair and speak in the mic. He hasn't really wandered anywhere. He hasn't really done anything. I think he was kind of stressed out after today, and he just wants to be held and wants to be touched. And wants to feel safe again, don't you, big guy? Oh, yeah. You like the head scratches. But that's where we're at for today. That's what we'll be doing tomorrow. And that's the update on the cats. I don't know how frequently I'm going to update on the cats. Probably until I don't really have anything new to say. Like, I never had anything new to say about my current cat before I got this guy, so I never brought her up. But yeah, I've got a cat that I've had for 4-ish years, maybe 5 at this point, named DM, or Dungeon Master, which is a ridiculous name. I like giving animals ridiculous names. And this guy is Choom, or Choomba, which it was from Cyberpunk. And I just thought it was a good, silly name. So he's got a good, silly name now. But I'll check you guys out tomorrow. I'm going to go make a chicken omelet. I'm going to go wolf that down. I'm going to have a good time. And if it's anything like the burrito I had in front of this guy, it will be a pain and I have to eat around him because he is so food obsessed. It was ridiculous trying to feed him in the kitchen with 2 bowls available to him. I've been cutting their dry food. I've been giving them dry food forever. And I did a little more research when I got this guy and realized dry food's actually kind of bad for them. And not kind of, I mean pretty bad for them. So I'm going to be moving them over to wet food when I go to the store this weekend. But for now, because the wet food is actually drying them out, because they're used to getting water from the meals they eat. I've been cutting their dry food with water. I think I mentioned this yesterday. But I think I put a little too much water in his food compared to hers, because he was straight up not interested in his food. There's 2 bowls out there, and I set hers out first, had a little less water. I set his out there. I thought I put the same amount of water, but admittedly, it was pretty soupy compared to the soft kibble that DM got. So he would take a couple laps out of the broth of his bowl and then try to sneak on over to the other bowl and just eat that one. So I had to get up. At a certain point, I said, okay, this isn't working. Got up, drained his food of the remaining water, set it back down, and he was a happy guy. Oh, he is voracious, though. Tried eating a burrito around him, and he was constantly climbing all over me, constantly trying to get a bite. At one point, he managed to slap his paw on the burrito, trying to pull it towards him, but I'm a fat guy who's cutting weight. He's not going to win that fight. 10 times out of 10, I win that one. But that's all I've got to say for today. I will check you guys out later. Well, goodbye.